cold January day. We have recently bottled our 2022 vintage Beaufrere Estate Vineyard. And I think a beautiful exercise that we have the opportunity to do is taste a vertical going back in time. This is a really cool exercise to have you guys here to share this product that we make that ages, we hope, beautifully. That's our intention. And so this is a really fun time. I mean, we're here with people that have known us for a long time, me growing up. I'm Mike Etzel, Mikey Etzel, by the way, son of the proprietor across the table. I've succeeded his role as the leader of the company,
and I've been put out the pasture.
Yep, you're just laying low.
I'm Doug Tunnell, and I'm from Brickhouse, just on the other side of Ribbon Ridge, and I've known these characters for way long time and tasted their wines and loved their wines for many, many years. I'm really looking forward to tasting these four today.
And I'm Kelsey Glasser, and I am a sommelier and restaurant owner in Portland. And I've had the pleasure of pouring and serving and talking about these wines and Doug's wines. Beaufrere is such an iconic brand in the Oregon sort of lineage. And so I'm really excited at the opportunity to taste back in time.
And I'm the dad, Michael Etzel. And this afternoon, we're going to taste the first vintage of Beaufrere, the first commercial vintage of Beaufrere, the 1992.
I'm Jason Wehling. I guess I'm the groupie here. I've been coming to Beaufrere probably since '05. It was probably the first time I wandered in here. I fell in love with Beaufrere, started collecting old vintages probably more than a decade ago when it wasn't quite so
Expensive?
It was easy to obtain, let's put it that way. And I just love opening old bottles for people, and so I feel honored to be part of this.
You are very generous. Thank you. So, Mikey, you hosted this. What do we do?
Let's pour the whole four. Panel of four, I suggest.
Which order are we tasting in?
And I think we should start with old.
Left to right?
the young. Yeah.
Old left.
Old left, and gentle with the bottle, because the wines are not filtered or fined, so there will be sediment. 1992 was harvested, believe it or not, August 31st. So, here it is. Wow, the acidity and the freshness.
Really fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Beaufrere has always had a reputation of aging quite well.
I was expecting to stick my nose in there and find, the real hallmarks of a big oak.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly.
But it's not.
Yeah.
It's
It doesn't
a
smell
lovely,
hot.
delicate
Uh-huh.
wine.
Very
Yeah.
savory.
Very, very nicely done.
I mean, this is just fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, out of the gate, this probably was pretty big,
yeah,
but now it's just absolutely lovely.
beautiful.
It's fantastic. I'm just
Yeah.
I'm enjoying
It's
it.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
2012 now?
two.
Oh, 02. So 01, the vineyards got a lot of rain. It was probably a vintage that set up 02.
Yeah.
And this is what we're tasting here.
Yeah.
So 2002 was a hot year.
Well, you say
You get
that
this mint character.
02 was a hot year, but it really wasn't that hot. It was just about the same as 2012 and way less hot than 2022. Way less hot than 2014 or 15 or 16.
Was
So
it
it's relative.
And
The hot
02
years
was,
before were not like anything like the hot years now.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
but 02 was and 2012 were both considered excellent Oregon vintages,
At
right?
the time,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is a style that, in my opinion, it's a style that just, I don't think flies with the consumer, certainly doesn't fly with me.
Yeah, the 2002's it's kind of a sappiness that I think weights it down. And I don't get a whole lot of aroma, to be quite frank. It's a little bit closed still, and a little heavy on the palate.
I mean, this more reminds me more of an Italian one, an old Nebbiolo.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually getting better with air. Either my palate is getting accustomed to it, or that the air is improving the wine. I'm not sure.
Well, 2012.
Sure.
So by now, the vineyard had some age. Grant Coulter was my assistant, and we collaborated on this. Let's see how it smells.
Much prefer the nose on the 2012 over the 2002. It's really quite a nice nose.
Yeah.
Is there a little bit of whole cluster on this?
Yes. Sometimes it depends on the fermenter. We would throw in 30%, sometimes none, 0, sometimes 10%. It just
Just like a hint of that like bramble.
Mm-hmm.
Often get with whole cluster.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah, brambly.
Yeah, I do too.
But it's also pretty. It's got a floral quality to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, firing on all cylinders.
But again, I think it could age similar to the 92.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mikey, here it is. This has a smell like
Oh, 22.
granola. No, what is that?
Very distinct, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like a dough, like a sourdough or something.
Something.
Not like the baked bread, but just the dough itself.
This
I
to me
like it.
smells more like
What is
Cote de Bone, whereas this was more like Cotigny-esque, like almost more dark fruit
I
or
get
something.
that. Yeah, I get that, Kelsey.
Wow, the palate though is beautifully got the length, no disjoint, no obstruction. It just flows right over the palate. It's very, very. Now, this wine should age very, very well.
The 22 is, I think, a delicious wine. I mean, I love that nose. The aroma really is captivating.
That was my body odor.
There's something a little human about it, yeah, but also kind of meaty. And,
There's a precision
but there's-
balance that I think this wine will age beautifully. And this could be a vintage that similar to 07, 11, and 13.
Yeah.
But young 07, 11, and 13 were horrendously difficult to drink when they were young.
And you feel the 2022 is more approachable than, certainly I would agree on 11.
And 13
for sure. Yeah.
But what I say is, whoa, this wine is gonna evolve into something in a way that is what we all love about it.
No, the 22 almost reminds me of a Chardonnay that has that beautiful. I love reduction in Chardonnay, and this has that lived and somewhat slight hint of reduced aroma that just really appeals to me. Added interest.
The 22 vintage, I had much more reservations coming into this. Very young wine after the struggles that we had in the vintage with botrytis, but I think it's going to age in parallel with the beauty of the 92. Completely different vintages, but I think it has balance and freshness, and I think that's all you need to make age-worthy wines.
Well, my thought about these 4 wines is it's sort of like a generational around the world tour, because we start at 92 and in 2022 we're very much back in that same category and very much in that same style. I think the wines are Granted, 22 is young, but it's very similar. It has the same promise as the 92 in that the delicacy and the finesse and the lightness, the texture, beautiful texture and nose. Really, those two wines, it brings me right back to 30 years ago.
Anytime you open up a bottle that's 30 years old, it's special. But getting to really taste its evolution is wonderful. And I think you can't really predict what it's gonna do. Like there's always this little component of whether it's the intuition of the winemaker or it's a little bit of magic that, you know, we'll see how this ages compared to this. Like theoretically, they're very different wines, but they have so many similarities. And that wine is more than numbers on a sheet, and that if you can be lucky enough to hang on to it, you know, and even just the fact that we got to open these bottles, every single one we heard a story where you both were, what was going on. Like it's a gift to be able to look back and see where the wine came from.
That's an excellent point in that what makes someone purchase an expensive bottle of wine? It's more than just the wine itself. It's the story, the relationship, the emotional relationship.
Yep.
For me, tasting these four wines, I don't want to get emotional.
But you will.
Most likely.
But no, I'm not. But then progressing through the mid years, and now just like you said, or like you said, Doug, full circle. The 2022 has precision, has balance. It's youthful. It's one that one should cellar and not pull a cork when your buddies come over, but you can't help it. You got to do it.
And with time, if you have a little time to let it open the glass, I think you can. I think it's
Well, it's
I
a
like
lovely
it.
wine, and thank you for putting this together, and thank you, Doug, and thank you for you coming, and you collection guy.
Groupie.
No, but we need to hear from you.
All right, we need to hear from you. Please.
All right. Well, I mean, first of all, it's an absolute honor to be sitting here with all of you. But I just love it. And I fell in love with Beaufrere early on. These bottles are easily stored for, as we can see, 30 years, and they're just fresh as can be. This 92 is, it's just so beautiful. It's just fantastic. Just a masterpiece, really. There is a reward for hanging on to these bottles. Some people really enjoy young Pinot, and I appreciate that, but there is something else. There's this treasure that awaits if you can hang on to it. And it's hard to do, but if you can do it, I mean, this bottle just is a monument to that. It's just beautiful. So thank you so much.